Hello, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome back to the Big Fun Podcast, Season 2, Episode 2.5.
Yeah. 2.5.
The remake of Episode 2.
Yeah, we're recording Episode 2, and it was actually going really well. And then, I think Nadav's Audacity stopped recording mysteriously.
Yeah. It just stopped at a point where I don't know what happened, because I was typing with my keyboard later, but like way later. So I don't know why it stopped, but it did. And I was thinking, we've talked about absurdism and Sisyphus before on this podcast.
Yeah.
Pretty sure that was Season 2, Episode 1. And you brought up the quote by Camus that one must imagine Sisyphus happy, right? And Sisyphus is the archetypal absurdist hero, right? Because he's burdened by a meaningless task, and he faces an uncaring universe.
Mm-hmm.
We, in a way, do the same.
Yeah.
We are burdened by this task of recording podcasts no one listens to. And, sometimes the universe just takes away an episode.
Yeah. Yeah, man, that sucks. I mean, it was going to happen sometime, but it's just, it never feels good. You know, something you work on, and then it just disappears like that. That sucks, man.
Yeah, it's unfortunate.
But I mean, you gotta get over it, right? Can't.
Yeah, we've accepted it.
Yep.
It took us a while to get back in the swing of things.
Yeah, because it's discouraging, man.
Yeah, it's very sad. I honestly thought we might have been done for good.
Oh yeah, I thought the government was gonna break into my home and take me to their facilities. Anyways,
Speaking of governments breaking into your home and taking you away.
Last time we said we're gonna talk about a country that's very nice and large. I know many people from there, and they love me. It's China. Now I love China, and China. Do you have anything to say about China, Nadav?
This is going very similar to how it went last time.
That's fine.
If you recall.
I don't recall.
I did not have much to say about China. You started us talking about China.
Well, we'll talk about China. So, what's happening right now is the United States is a global superpower, and everybody knows that. And China is a rising superpower. And it seems that China is winning this race quite easily. And because, they understand that the next modern war, it's not going to be a conventional war because of mutually assured destruction. It's going to be a war on information. So they've been developing technology to remove satellites from orbit. They've been developing spy technology, and by the way, this is not Alex Jones conspiracy. Like, this is true. Technologies that they've been putting, they've been developing spying software that they've been installing in hardware that is shipped to government agencies around the world, in Europe and in the United States too. So they're winning this, and the United States really isn't doing much. It's just they're taking it. And I think a part of the reason the U.S. can't retaliate is that, the Chinese has a powerful central government that's run by one guy. So he can plan long-term plans, like 15 years, 10 years, because he knows nobody is going to replace him. But in the United States, that's not the case, because people do replace other people, and usually they undo their policies. And by the way, I'm not saying democracy is great and awesome, but that's one of its downfalls. It's not as systematic and effective as these other authoritarian forms of government.
A short digression. Alex Jones' conspiracy theories made me realize that we haven't done a "Is this real or fake?"
Oh, that's
segment
true. Yeah.
in so long. Like we apparently gave up on that pretty fast.
Well, I have some still saved up on my phone.
I think I ran out of mine.
Okay.
At least I don't remember any.
Okay.
It's been a long time. But I do agree with you that China is rising up faster than other nations, and they're probably going to take over the position of the world superpower pretty soon. If there's a world.
Yeah.
But after this, we segued into a talk about morality and freedom of speech, and I don't particularly want to have this talk with you again because we already expressed our views to each other, and I feel like having it again will just be rehashing and kind of just summarizing our points to a listener.
Yeah, this is the problem with losing an episode. It kind of sucks, like, because you had all these discussions, but once you had them, you blew it, like,
Yeah, just a little bit though. We came to the conclusion that I'm apparently okay with people being executed for saying certain things.
Well, I think you should explain your position better.
Right. Well, I cannot be bothered to.
Okay, I'm just going to summarize it, okay? So Nadav says that eliminating certain groups of people for the sake of societal efficiency, for example, executing or censoring all anti-vaxxers, which is good for society, allegedly, right? Good for society. He's fine with that thing happening. And this was in the context of China rising as a new global superpower. And I was saying that that's not okay because I believe that freedom of speech is something fundamental, and that if you remove that from a nation, not only are people philosophically deprived, but it can also be very bad for the economy and stuff like that.
And I believe that there's no such thing as freedoms or rights, only privileges that you get by living in certain places. And sometimes you overreach, and those privileges have to be taken away from you, so you learn your lesson. But the reason I'm really bringing this up is I found another group whose voices need to be silenced. So, I think I just peaked. Okay. We'll remove that.
Okay.
In my dorm, there's a dining hall, and you can use this app called Rockbot to queue up music that they'll play.
Okay.
Right? And it's whenever I go down, I usually play some Billy Joel, because of course, right?
Yep.
And several times now, when I've played Vienna, someone has downvoted it.
Oh yeah, you told me this.
But I told you when it happened one time.
Oh, it happened several
multiple times.
So it wasn't a misclick or a mistake. It was,
well, you can take back your downvote, right? You can click on it again.
Yeah. So it was an intentional assault on humanity.
Exactly, and these people, they do not deserve.
Yeah. See,
existence.
Usually I'm for people's right for existence and a small government, but I think in this case we definitely need a change in policy, and we need to eradicate these people.
I'm not even joking. Like, listener, you might think I'm joking. I'm not.
No, he's not.
This is not a joke. I am deadly
FBI,
serious.
Open up. Yeah. FBI, I know you're watching this. I enjoy you being. If you want to sponsor us, that would be great.
Yeah, the only people watching this are the FBI.
The FBI, yeah. They want to see how these radical thinkers are.
I don't know if this was in the Lost episode or in episode 1, but if you got a sponsorship, we'll take it.
Yeah.
We don't care what it is.
I did send some emails to I'm not gonna say who, to some people, some people who make some content on YouTube. I don't expect a response, but if we get one, but it's on our email, Nadav. You can see what I sent. If we get one, that could be cool. We're probably not, but I'm not gonna rule it out.
I am checking right now because I'm interested in this.
Okay, I'm not gonna say who, and I told them too that we're not looking really to increase our our views by showing someone who's more popular than us. We just really want to have a cool discussion with people who are willing to have it. And by the way, listener, if you're listening to this and you think you got some interesting views or just you wanna talk, I mean, we only have you, so come on, just
Yes.
hit us up.
People always ask me when I tell them I have a podcast, oh, can I be a guest on your podcast? And I tell them, yeah, sure, maybe later. But honestly, what I think in my head is, well, maybe if you listen to my podcast, I'll let you be on
Yeah.
the podcast.
Well, usually when people want to be guests, it's because they think the podcast reaches more people than it does.
Yeah.
Because they're like, ooh,
Well,
I can be a part of this, something that's bigger than myself.
you know, what someone asked me, do we stream the podcast live? And I
Wait,
looked at them and I
what?
was like,
Then
no,
even
we don't stream the podcast live. We don't have any people watching the podcast.
Yeah,
How do we do that?
yeah, that doesn't make any sense.
It's pretty crazy.
Yeah, you check the emails?
I did. I don't watch those people.
Really? I thought you watched.
I'm familiar with one of them.
Yeah,
but
okay.
The other one I'm not.
Yeah, the other one is more obscure, but I think you would like them.
All right. Maybe I'll check them out.
Yeah.
Maybe I'll send some emails of myself.
Yeah, go ahead for sure.
Not of myself. Just without the of. It's been a long day.
Okay. Yeah. All right. Yeah, dude, last week was terrible for me because I had, and I'm surprised that I can do this podcast because I had like 2 exams, quiz, a project, a shitload of stuff.
No,
Well,
I haven't had
I think we should
anything.
move to a new topic before our listener dies.
Right, of course. We wouldn't want that.
No.
Then we would drop down to 0 listeners.
Exactly, that's what I'm saying.
Um,
Listener, hang in there. Breathe.
I have a bit of a funny story, if you'd like to hear it.
Sure.
So last semester, I was in a class called Contemporary Physics with 6 other people. So there were 7 of us.
Wow.
And our teacher, Dr. Andrek, is a big fan of sleep.
I'm a fan
The
of
first
sleep.
assignment we got was to read 2 articles about sleep and to write responses on them.
Wait,
and
physics or psychology?
Physics, contemporary physics.
Okay.
Well, because it's a hard class, and she wanted us to
Okay.
be alive. Well, one of the people in that class, and I also had multivariable calculus with him, and this semester I'm in differential equations with him. His name is Akul.
He's a cool
And
dude.
yeah, he's. This is a cool story.
Sorry, I'll stop interrupting.
No, it's okay. That joke has been made a lot of times. Anyways, he did not sleep. He is not a sleeper. He sleeps in class. He sleeps in his lab chair while doing lab. He does not sleep at night. I don't know if he even has a bed. Sometimes I'll go through the science building and I'll see him pass out on the couch that we have in the physics hallway. So, Dr. Hendricks been trying to tell him for 2 years now, he's a sophomore, to try and get some sleep. And it hasn't been working. Well, the other day, in differential equations, he goes up to Hayden, who's another friend of mine who we had class with, and he was like, Hayden, you're right. When you wake up in the morning, you have so much energy, become so much more productive throughout the day. Thank you, man. And we all kind of turned and looked at him, and Hayden was like, well, you're welcome. And it was the funniest thing, because I don't know why he thanked Hayden for that, since Hayden never told him to go to sleep. Well, maybe he did, like everyone did, but, of course you become more productive and have more energy when you go to sleep at night and wake up in the morning.
Dude, I'll be honest. I don't know. There's so many people I know of in my school, and that was in my high school too, that just get less than 6 hours, less than 5 hours of sleep per night, unless you're an outlier who can function well with that amount of sleep. That's really not healthy. Sleep is such an important resource. People don't understand this, and I don't get it. Every night, I sleep a minimum of 6+ hours. And
Dude,
that's a minimum.
If I don't get 7 hours, I can't function.
Yeah,
I need at least
dude.
eight to 9.
If I wake up after like only 6 hours, I'm like a zombie, dude. And people are like, I'm used to it. No, you're not. You think
I
you
don't
are.
go to class if I don't have that much sleep.
Like
I can't.
it's ridiculous. I don't know, listeners. Seriously, if you're not getting enough sleep, get more sleep. Like it's literally linked to every health topic ever, right? And psychological
really is.
health too.
On my floor in my dorm, we have a whiteboard, and there's markers, and everyone there's a communal board,
Mm-hmm.
and someone wrote "Team No Sleep." So underneath that, I wrote "Sleep is for the weak" with 2 E's.
Mm-hmm.
Someone later replaced the second E with an A, and wrote underneath it that I can sleep when I'm dead. So underneath that, I wrote, "Well, if you don't sleep, that'll be sooner rather than later," and it's really true.
It is, yeah. And honestly, I mean, sleeping is such a good experience.
It's the best part of my day.
Like you're tired and your body is heavy, and you just going, especially if like you have like clean sheets, and you're after a shower or something. Unless you shower in the morning, I don't know. That's kind of weird. Okay, and then you just sink into this bath of eternal bliss. That is until you wake up.
The first thing I think of every morning when I wake up is, God, I wish I was asleep. And the last thing I think of every night before I fall asleep is, God, I wish I was asleep.
You know what I actually notice is on weekends, like I get too tired. So like I get tired when it's late, so I'm too, like I can't be bothered to like go and brush my teeth. So I just stay
In bed.
awake for longer, just doing stuff.
Oh, you stay awake
Yeah.
for longer.
But just because
No,
I can't be bothered to go brush my teeth.
See, if I'm so tired I can't be bothered to brush my teeth, I'm already asleep.
Yeah.
I'm already asleep by that point.
Hmm.
I woke up at 7 o'clock this morning. It's a Saturday. I woke up at 7 a.m.
Why?
I didn't have an alarm. I turned my alarm off. I just woke up then.
Damn.
That's just when I wake up.
So yeah, listener, sleep is very important to get. It is.
I love sleep.
You said you have another topic for us?
Yeah, a little bit. So I have a class called Time. I think I've mentioned it before, and I'm writing a story for it.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah. Did we talk about this first podcast?
I feel like we talked about it a little bit first podcast.
Okay.
Anyways, I have to write like a 10 to 20 page paper. More than 15 at least, I think. About time. Time has to be a central theme. And I'm writing a paper about basically time goes out of whack, but only one character notices it, and that's the main character. And there's a couple things happen, like they start noticing that like the galaxies that are redshifted become blue shifted, and like the moon is a new moon. I've made this joke before. And it's different things, but I have to do research for it, right? Because it's technically like a science class, and instead of writing a story, I could have written a research paper. So it's kind of has to be sort of equivalent. So I need sources, and I need to show that I understand these things. So I was doing some research, and I was finding some sources, and I found a source. It's an article. It's called something along the lines of accommodating retrocausality with free will. Retrocausality is a thing in quantum mechanics, which is kind of confusing, but it's basically like things go backwards. Anyways, it was like perfect for my paper. It was so good. And then I looked at the authors. It was 2 guys from Tel Aviv University and another guy from Haifa. And I was like, wow, that's crazy. I wanted to write a story about this, and these 3 Israeli guys wrote a paper about this. That's pretty funny. So I sent it to my dad because I thought the coincidence was too good not to share. And he looked at it, and he told me one of the people who wrote that article was actually his teacher when he took modern physics at Tel Aviv University. And I'm using like that whole story as proof that free will does not exist, that everything is deterministic.
Dude, Israel is a small place, man. uh,
Yeah, but the fact I
yeah.
found that article,
Yeah.
that article perfectly matched what I wanted to write about, and the guy who wrote it was my dad's teacher.
Yeah.
When my dad was taking the class that my teacher for time taught me.
Yeah. And I think we've talked about determinism before, so I don't think we should talk about it again.
No. I think before I said I was not and you were,
Okay.
but I've since changed my mind. This article is clear proof that the universe is
changed to my side.
The dark side.
The dark side.
The D side. Yeah.
Yeah. Were those your topics?
I think you should have a topic because we've gone on for like 20 minutes on mind stuff.
Sure. Well, now I need to think of a topic. Dude, last time we talked so much about China, it was such a great conversation, but
it was pretty good.
All right, I'm not gonna talk about it.
No, we're Sisyphus. We are absurdist heroes. We accept it and move on.
Yeah, that's right. I don't know if this could be a very short topic. I can never remember like people's names, you know. Like
yeah, I do know.
Like people and like names in general, right? Like I could work with someone for like an entire semester and I wouldn't know their name. It's kind of crazy.
I think for me, it's less that I don't remember their name as much as I never take in their name. Like it never goes into my head. I never.
Yeah, that's pretty much like I could ask him, "What's your name?" and then they respond, and like I don't like. Literally, my participation in that ended when I asked what their name is, you know?
I don't even ask people their names.
Mm.
And I don't even do it anymore. Like, people have to tell me their names or I will never find them out.
Even if people tell me. Like, I would need them to tell me several times before I'm like, okay, maybe I should remember it. But even, like, names for, like, stuff. Like, when we did in calculus something called implicit differentiation. I don't know that shit by name. Like, I know how to do it.
But that's math stuff, right? And all math stuff, you can't really remember that stuff.
I guess. I don't know. It's just names and stuff.
I mean, like, psychology stuff, remembering that by name is easy because it's super obvious. It's exactly what it says it is. But with math stuff, it's like, what are those words?
What do you think about names?
Well, I think for me, it's a bad habit I developed from reading books when I was young. Because when I read books as a child, whenever I would get to a character's name, it'd be a word that would be too hard for me to pronounce, so I just skip over it.
Mm-hmm.
And now in conversation, I just skip over people's names. So that's me.
Nice. Well, here's a question. Names in society are used in order to identify things. Would you be fine with living in a society where instead of names, people are numbered, and that society is Chinese? And
yeah, I think so. I don't think. Yeah, sure. I mean, and if you look at the base of it, right, and a name is just a string of characters, a number is just a string of characters. If you convert everything into binary, it's just a string of characters.
But the difference is a name is in our language of how we communicate ideas, right? But then if you put that in numbers is not how we communicate ideas. It's how we communicate numbers.
But natural language is just how we communicate ideas for now. But
are we gonna communicate with numbers in the future?
Perhaps, right? If
into the hive
keep
mind
growing, right? Well, I mean, you look at computers. Computers don't communicate with natural language. They communicate with numbers, right? They have to convert their numbers into natural language for us to understand them. But some people don't even need that. They can just understand the numbers.
So what you're saying is we're heading towards a future where people who are biologically superior to us are overlords who speak only in numbers and cryptic messages are going to come for our souls. The Dread Pirate Robert is coming for your soul.
I do think, right, that if if we were to speak more in numbers, which some people speak quite a bit in numbers. I mean, or perhaps not in numbers, but in a similar train of thought, right? Like applied mathematicians and engineers and physicists and stuff.
Yeah.
I think that counts as a language.
Sure.
And yeah, I
you know,
would be fine with being referred to
something
by
that
that.
is interesting that I think Neil deGrasse Tyson said, or Carl Sagan, something like that. Language, numbers are the language of the universe, right? If you're going to Israel, maybe you'd want to know Hebrew, right? So if you're going to the universe, you might want to know math. And I think I know Neil deGrasse Tyson says a lot of things which sound profound, but really they're not that profound at all. But I think that is one of the profound things that either he or Carl Sagan said.
Yeah, and like inmates are referred to by numbers, and people think it's like it's depersonalizing.
Mm-hmm.
It like takes away your humanity, but I don't think so. I'm not too attached to my name.
Really?
I mean it's just a string of syllables that people refer to me as, and sometimes they don't even refer to me as that. I let people call me Dave, even though it's not my name. It's like, sure.
Yeah, but don't you think a part of your identity lies in your name?
I don't think so.
Like if you were called
Arose by any other name, Guy. Arose by any other name.
If you were called Jason, one day everybody called you Jason. You're Jason. All your documents say you're Jason. The only person who says you're not Jason is you, Jason.
Well, I mean, I could always change my name.
No, I'm saying, would you be alright with that? Like, okay, sure, I'm Jason.
I mean, it would take me a couple, like take me some time to get used to people calling me Jason. But yeah, I don't really care. As long as I can still communicate to people and people can communicate to me. What does it really matter what they refer to me as?
I like my name. I think people's name. I don't know how that happens. You know how people, like, when you think about, say, Kara, you could say, oh, she looks like a Kara. Like, how does that happen?
Well, you meet someone who has that name, and then you have a schema of that name.
Yeah, but there seems to be person. Like when you think of George, what do you think about? Probably.
I think of the monkey. George the monkey.
A human.
I
think about like probably an Englishman, pretty traditional, middle aged to old.
I just see an animated monkey. I'm
okay.
trying to think
You're
of a
stupid.
human.
Okay, what about when you hear I was about to say Bruce, but I know.
Bruce you.
Bruce you. Okay, so when you hear
wait. Have we talked about Bruce you on the podcast?
We've not,
before?
no.
Okay, we'll have to do that sometime.
Yeah. Do you want to segue right now? I'm just gonna say.
Well, no, you were saying something.
Yeah, I'm just gonna. Okay, so when you hear about someone and his name is Joe, you have a certain image in your head. Or when you think about someone and her name is Clara, right? Yeah, you have a certain image in your head.
But see, I don't have one for Clara. I have one for Joe because we know a Joe. We're friends.
Okay,
with Joe.
you're weird then.
But a Clara, I don't think I've ever met a Clara. I have nothing.
But haven't you ever been like?
I have something for a Claire.
Like he looks like a.
And a
X.
Chloe.
He looks like a Joe. He looks like a Ben. You know.
I don't think I've ever been, you look like a this. I think of more being, you don't look like a this.
Do I look like a guy?
Well, yes. You are a guy.
I am a guy. That's true.
Funny joke there.
So, yeah, Bruce Lee.
He's the Ugandan Bruce Lee.
They call him Bruce Lee. Honestly, so, listen, what we're talking about is it's
Ugandan Hollywood.
Yeah, okay. It's basically Ugandan Hollywood from the slums of Uganda, from a place called Wakali something. And
Hollywood.
well, the place is not called Wakaliwood. They call it
I know.
Wakaliwood, and
Yeah.
they make movies, and they fall under that elusive sweet spot of so bad it's good, right? That just good enough so it's watchable, but so bad that it's hilarious. You know,
Just
it's
thinking about it, I can't keep a straight face.
right.
Yeah.
if listener, go and Google well, Hollywood or Who Killed Captain Alex, something like that, and something that they have, and I don't know if other African or Ugandan movies have these. They have what's called a video joker, and a video joker, he isn't a narrator, but he talks over some portions of the movie to add some comedy into it, right? And listener, this is a time where you look up video joke best of video joker. Okay,
First VJ in English.
now this guy is hilarious.
So funny.
He's hilarious. I can't even begin to describe to you how funny it is. Let's put a link in the description for best of video joke. It's fucking crazy, dude. So Hollywood, seriously, so bad that it's good.
Yeah, top tier movies.
Yeah, and you know how they make it so bad it's good. They try to make it good. And that you could say that's sad, but I think it's something beautiful.
It certainly is something.
And they know what they're doing. Like they know what they're shooting for. They know what they can be and what they can't be. And they're doing what they can be the best they can. And I mean, seriously, Hollywood is great. I love Hollywood.
Speaking of movies, any movie caught your eye recently?
Honestly, sometimes my parents are like, let's go watch a movie in the cinema, and I just look over all the movies in the cinema, and they all, good movies are few and far in between.
They so totally are.
So recently, I watched the show Vikings relatively recently. Ragnar is a great character, and the show itself is really good. But after Ragnar dies, it becomes kind of shit, I think. Yeah. What about you?
Well, I've been browsing through Netflix recently because I've got to watch some stuff about time. I have to find something I haven't watched before.
The Doc Dada.
It has time as a theme.
The Doc Dada.
I've watched the Doc Dada.
The Doc.
And I don't think that counts.
Wait, you should cite it though.
Sure. So I picked I picked some episodes of The Twilight Zone I haven't seen yet, which is going to be pretty fun. But I was searching through Netflix and I saw they added Pulp Fiction recently.
They added what?
You know Pulp Fiction? Pulp Fiction.
I know it, and sorry for people who are religious about this film, but I don't think I've watched it.
Well, now you can watch it because it is on Netflix. And, I mean, okay, I won't say it's the best movie of all time, because it's not, but it is it. It is a
enjoy your
death
threats, by the
way. No, it's good. It's fun. And it's a classic for a reason.
Mm-hmm.
It's well made, and it's interestingly shot, and the story is pretty good.
Yeah.
It's better than most movies that come out these days. I'll give it that much. So that's not a very high bar.
It's really not, man. Movies these days, and people are like, "Dude, are you hyped for Avengers?"
Quadrillion?
No, yeah. Which one is it? I don't know. I actually don't know. And it's like, dude, they're all the same. They're not that good. They're not that good, and they're all the same. They're not even that good.
They literally just had Avengers Infinity, so I guess the next one's Infinity.
And everybody
1.
dies, and they probably come back. It's just dumb. People are like, Infinity War is a masterpiece. I'm like, no, it's not. Relax, dude. Fuck Infinity War.
Have I told you about Thanos' brother?
I think so.
Star Fox.
Yes. I'm pretty sure this was in the podcast.
Yeah, it's a great character.
Yeah.
I love Star
Yeah.
Fox
Um,
with his rape
I'm
case.
looking at, I'm looking. Oh my god!
No, it's an
I
actual
know,
arc in his
I
comic
know.
books.
I'm looking at the.
She-Hulk has to defend him.
I'm looking at the list here. We could talk a little bit. I don't think we've talked about. Well, maybe we have about kung fu. Dude, kung fu is really cool. Uh, like just watching people who know what they're doing in kung fu. It's beautiful and it's very difficult, and you need to be extremely athletic to do it. And wow.
When I moved to California, I did Shaolin Kung Fu.
Didn't you do Shadow Con?
Well, no, that was before.
Okay.
I did Shadowcon, but when I moved to California, I had to look for. I had to look for a
Listener,
dojo.
I know it's not Shadow Con. Relax.
So I did some MMA.
Mm-hmm.
I went to another dojo with
I think
for Shotokan.
I'm pretty sure you said this that MMA was too. I'm gonna let you speak because
yeah, MMA was like too physical. It like not that came out wrong. It was like it was too much about the fighting and not enough about the art.
Mm-hmm.
Right. So I went to another dojo for Shotokan, but I hated the dojo,
Mm-hmm.
so I never came back. And then I did Shaolin Kung Fu. And that lasted for about a day, because it was too much about the art, let me tell you.
Yeah.
I could not do it. It was...
Yeah. But dude, Shaolin Kung Fu, like it looks really good.
Oh yeah, it's an art form.
It is an art form, and it's a performance.
Art.
I don't think it's a bad thing. Like, so many people online are like, it's bullshito. It's like, it's not gonna win you a mixed martial arts fight because it's not a mixed martial art. It's its own thing. It's not meant to do that.
You know? It's not the most effective fighting style. It's the most beautiful.
And it looks fucking cool, dude. Jesus Christ.
And there's so many weapons. Like,
yeah,
I almost stuck with it just so I could go through the weapons catalog. Because that was intense.
Yeah, it's like building your RPG character. Which style do you want?
Honestly, it was.
Which weapon do you
want? I could not decide between like a Tessin, which is like a little fan thing, or like... Yeah. I didn't like nunchucks. I've used nunchucks before. I don't like them.
Yeah. All right. Bruce Lee. Yeah, so Kung Fu is great. And I think I agree with you. MMA, when people talk about MMA, they're like, or I guess specifically the UFC and stuff like that. They always compare that to like Kung Fu and stuff, right? And they're like, ooh, how would Judo do in MMA? How would Kung Fu do in MMA? How would this and that? But they don't understand that MMA is its own sport, right? Like it's a sport of mixed martial arts, right? So these questions are kind of meaningless because that's like saying, how would a soccer player do in mixed martial art? Well, he has strong kicks, but it's not the same sport. He's not training to fight in a ring.
Something more along the lines of, how would a fencer do at a shooting range?
Sure. It's not the same sport. If you're looking to compete in mixed martial arts, you need to train in mixed martial arts, in cage fighting, right? People don't get this. And, there's so many keyboard warriors out there. You know this. And also with the rise of the Joe Rogan show, I'm sure you've heard of the Joe Rogan show.
I'm not familiar, actually.
Really? It's the biggest podcast in the world.
Really?
Yeah.
I don't listen to podcasts.
Second to the Big Fun podcast. Anyways.
Of course.
So Joe Rogan is, he commentates mixed martial arts fights. So he often talks about martial arts and things like that. So people who watch him, 50% of Earth's population, they're like, yeah, I'm gonna hit you with a spinning sidekick. It's like, dude, like you.
A what?
A spinning sidekick, back kick, tornado kick.
What kind? What kind of kick?
Tiger kick. A what? So yeah, people should know what they're talking about when they talk about it. But of course they don't. My point is, Kung Fu is great for Kung Fu. Mixed martial arts is great for mixed martial arts, and whatever you're doing is good for whatever you're doing. That is my point.
It's a good point.
Yeah.
I think more people should have that point, or
I
else
think
they will be executed.
all people should have all of my points, because my points are flawless.
That's a good point.
I know.
Yeah.
Do you have any topic you want to talk about next?
I've got a little story, and perhaps it will trigger a topic for you. So I live in a dorm, as I've mentioned before, and sometimes it's a bit loud.
Yeah.
For example, since I live over the dining hall and I live right over the parking lot, every morning when the trucks come to unload the supplies, I hear it. And I hear things from the floor above me and the floor below me and from around my room. So I bought earplugs.
Mm-hmm.
And I got a message from Amazon. Now, I ordered them to the Amazon locker that was inside my dorm building, right? And on Saturday, I got a message. Not this Saturday, a while ago. I got a message that they could not be delivered because the delivery man could not access the mailbox because there was a door or gate or something in the way. And they will try again the next day. I was like, wait, what? So the next day I got the same message, it being Sunday. And I was like, okay, well, I don't know what's going on, but maybe I should figure this out. So I did a bunch of research, and I got USPS's number, and I tried to call them, but they just told me that they just gave me the same message. It was an automated voice thing, and I couldn't contact a person. So on Monday, the day after, I called up the post office, right? And this was Martin Luther King Jr. Day, it turns out. So I called up the post office, and I was like, hey, I got these messages that my package could not be delivered because they couldn't access the mailbox. And she asked me, okay, which mailbox? I said the Amazon locker. And she was like, oh, well, we just don't have access to that on the weekends. And I was like, yeah, but are things even being delivered on weekends? I thought they only deliver on business days. And she was like, yeah, we only deliver on business days. And then she hung up on me. And at this point, I was so lost because I got the message that it could not be delivered on 2 days that were not business days. What was going on? It wasn't even supposed to come until Tuesday. I don't understand why I kept getting those.
I don't know, man.
Never before and never after have I had a problem like that.
That is
and I just wanted to vent it to someone because it was strange.
That is very strange. That doesn't prompt me to say anything, but we could talk a little bit about maybe. Well, you could update on being a good person, but that's up to you.
Oh. Yeah. Being a good person. How have I tried to be a good person lately?
You're terrible. You can't help it.
Well, I don't know. I don't remember what I've kind of forgotten about this over winter break. And
Yeah.
I didn't make resolutions to be a good person, so I guess I haven't been trying.
Okay.
So just being myself, which I don't think is bad.
Well, here is where you're wrong. No, you're fine. You're fine.
Do you have any conspiracy theories to throw at me? You said you did.
Conspiracy theories. Okay. Let me get my phone.
All right. In the meantime, I will talk about something else. I don't really have anything I can talk about right now. I'm sorry, listener. This is a bit boring part of the podcast because we didn't plan ahead. We never plan ahead, actually. That's a little thing you should know about us. All episodes are spur of the moment. We ad-lib everything. We have little notes about things we might possibly want to talk about, but we don't write a lot down. I just have sticky notes that I'll write a couple words down on. For example, 9T and 9T make an actual joke. I believe I referenced this in the podcast season 1. You should have a look at some point.
Okay.
watch the first season, will listen to the first season, I recommend you do so.
Okay, I got a conspiracy here.
Hit me.
The Chinese government, this is China, okay? The Chinese government is spreading, so you know how smog is over like all cities in China, right? So what they're
Mm-hmm.
doing is they're putting a chemical there that kills 9 Chinese people faster than it kills Chinese people, increasing the Chinese population in China.
Oh shit. Okay. Huh. I'm gonna go with real.
It is not real.
Oh,
uh,
damn it.
yeah, it sounds real. Why did you think it was real though? I don't know why
Well,
it sounds real.
because I guess I underestimated humanity.
No, that's not true. You can never do that.
Oh, recently my friend mentioned something about on Facebook. There was a post of "Let's go loot Walmart. They can't stop us all," and he sent me a video of like this convenience store. It's like a security camera of a convenience store, and you just see the doors open, and then a mob of people run in, and they just grab everything. Like they actually like unbolt the
Wait,
stands
what?
from the store and drag
What
them
the
out.
heck?
And it really warmed my heart that we as humans could come together,
And rob a
pull off
Walmart
such
store.
that wasn't even Walmart. That was just a convenience store.
Oh,
It's like, oh yeah, truly the paragon of humanity, right?
that's
Like, who says we're divided?
well, I keep telling people, hate brings us together more than love does. A
Did you
mutual hatred.
did you listen to Donald Trump's
I
State of the
didn't
Union
actually.
speech?
No, I did not.
Well, maybe we'll have to talk about that
Yeah,
next time.
I do know that people. So you know the person tasked with formulating the official response from the Democratic Party was a black woman, right? And did you know this?
Know what? That it was a black
Yeah.
woman? Yes, I knew
Okay.
that.
And you maybe know also that Bernie Sanders makes it a habit to respond to State of the Union speeches, right?
I am familiar, yes.
And people went nuts because they're like, he's taking her stage. This old white man is taking the stage from this black woman, and it's like, one, he's been doing it for like the longest time, right? He has a record of doing it. Two, like you realize that him speaking and her speaking, like they're not mutually exclusive, right?
Yeah. That's well, you can never put too much past people, I guess. That's why I believe that conspiracy was true. I will give you a little spoiler for Trump's speech. Can you guess what was not mentioned at all?
What?
Can you guess what was not mentioned at all in Trump's speech?
What was not mentioned?
I'll give you a hint. It starts with R.
Russia.
Yeah.
Dude, okay. I want to talk about Putin a little bit.
All right, hit me.
So recently, I'm just I'm just wondering like why, and call me ignorant. Why like what does Putin really want? Like why does he really hate the West this much, right? So I'm like, okay, I'm gonna look up Putin interview, right? So I watched some of his interviews, and he's such a smooth, charismatic speaker that by the end of the interview, you're convinced that what he's doing is fine and the United States is the enemy. And obviously, I don't think this now, but FBI, I don't think this now. I'll repeat, but he's such a badass character, you know. Like
And I'm sure Mussolini was the same way.
Mussolini was the soft underbelly of Europe.
I don't know. He was quite a talker.
But yeah, but dude, Putin is just like he's a badass character. Like,
He is.
just watch an
You know,
interview by him, and then
I honestly think you would really enjoy reading The Last Empire, that book I had to read for foreign policy. Putin does come up in it a bit towards the end. It's honestly a very good read. It can shine a bit of light.
And then
on
you
his
gotta remind yourself that Putin is he's power hungry, right? He's not a good person. He stuffs ballots, and he kills political dissidents, and he silences people, and he censors people. And you gotta remember that, man. And that doesn't mean that the United States is all good. Obviously, the United States has had imperial tendencies and in the 2000s, but I would say Russia's pretty bad.
I mean, he is ex-KGB.
Yeah.
You know?
He's a media monster. Like,
that's what he was trained for.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah.
And he was there when his offices, were, like, ransacked by, like, Yeltsin's revolution. And that's something that will forever be burned into his memory.
Yeah.
And something he could never forgive.
Yeah, and
especially Bush and Clinton.
And when I world build, I always try to see, and just in general, it's a good idea, seeing things from other people's perspective, because Putin thinks he is right. He does. Now, I'm so curious, why? Right? So, you gotta look these stuff up. It's like Kim Jong-un, I think he's a tyrant. He thinks that he's correct. It's so interesting, and I don't know why yet. It's so interesting to look at reality through these people and see why they think they're correct.
Reality is a falsehood.
Yeah. Reality is a social construct.
Time is a social construct. You know what the most accurate clock in the world is? It's a piece of paper that has a chart that shows how many nanoseconds off each of the major atomic clocks. There's about 50 of them in the world, scattered amongst different countries at very secure laboratories. How off? How many nanoseconds they were off from the agreed upon UTC, Universal Time. That's the most accurate clock in the world. A piece of paper, and it measures the last month, not even the current. Funny little thing.
All right, I got a conspiracy for you. By the way, this episode has been all over the place. I don't think this is a very good episode, but
I think it was okay.
Okay, well, I feel like we gotta get back into. We're just discouraged from last time, but it's okay. It's not like we have a listener. Here's a conspiracy theory. Finland, Finland, right?
I'm familiar.
It doesn't exist. Finland is actually, where you think Finland is actually just water. And the governments, they want you to think that Finland actually exists. Why?
Okay, well this is the one you came up with.
Wait. Why? Maybe this will change your mind. Why do they want you to think that Finland exists? Well, what does Finland really stand for in the world? It is a leader of socialism. It is a leader of healthcare. They want you to see Finland as a paragon of virtue in the world and want to be them.
But a lot of people don't like socialism.
Real or fake?
In the government. It's fake. You cream them.
It's real.
What? What? That's so stupid.
Yeah.
That's even stupider than the China one.
Yeah, they know.
I could see people believe in the China one. But this thing?
Yep, Finland doesn't exist.
That's so fucking stupid.
Yeah. Yeah, it is.
I have a conspiracy theory for you.
Okay.
I just came up with it.
Okay.
So, Nelson Mandela
Mm-hmm.
died in prison. Okay? But he's still alive.
Okay.
Whoa.
This is one of these still alive conspiracies.
Well, no. I mean, well, he did die, but he was still alive, even though he died in prison.
Yo,
He's dead, right? Like, I think he
see,
actually died for real.
it sounds too reasonable. It sounds like some like conspiracy of a scale that's too small. So I'm gonna say you made it up.
No, it's called the Mandela effect. Like, tons of people remember him dying in prison, even though that never happened. So
Oh, I
so
thought you were going towards this theory there.
no. It's like a real thing.
I know the
Look it up.
Mandela effect. I thought you were gonna hit me with a conspiracy theory.
That was the conspiracy theory. The Mandela effect was the conspiracy theory.
Okay. Wait, you're saying he didn't die in prison? Okay.
Yeah, it's a time break. It's a time wound.
Yeah.
Like from the Elder Scrolls.
All right,
what are you doing?
We have 5 minutes.
You got any this week I learned?
This week, I didn't learn anything.
I learned something. This might interest you because you're a chem guy.
What did you learn?
You know homogeneous?
Yeah.
You know homogeneous?
Yes.
You know what's what?
No.
Well, homogeneous is for chemistry. Homogeneous is for math. Because differential equations can be homogeneous or inhomogeneous. But they're
What
not
about
homogeneous.
molality?
Molality and molarity. I can't remember which one is which.
Dude,
is molality?
What's molality? I still
molality is moles per kilograms, right?
What?
And
wait, that's just inverse molar mass times
molality. Molality is moles of solute per kilograms of solvent.
Oh, so it's just okay. That's dumb.
Yeah, and molarity is moles of solute per liter of solution.
That's really dumb, man.
Yeah, I remember because the one that has L in it is not the liter.
Well, I know what molarity is, but molality, dude, what the fuck? I didn't learn anything this week, man.
What did you do this week?
I had a bunch of exams and shit.
I've only had 2 quizzes this entire semester, and they were both in differential equations, and they were both very easy.
Wow, only 2 quizzes. You know what I did? Do you know a program called Mathematica?
Oh, dude, don't get me started on Mathematica.
Dude, I had a math project in Mathematica, but it's such a powerful tool, though.
Dude, you know how much I've had to use Mathematica?
It's so powerful, though.
I'm a whiz at Mathematica. I can do so much shit.
Dude, it's crazy. It's insane. Like, wow.
Yeah, you just have to know how to use it.
Yeah.
But once you know how to use it, it's like...
Say, Mathematica. If you want to sponsor us, Mathematica.
Wolfram Alpha, that's the ones.
Yeah. No, actually, though, if you want to sponsor. Well, maybe, I don't know, maybe we'll send emails to some...
Yeah, we could make this like an actual, like, math, physics... Chem,
well, maybe
like,
I think they're too big to care. Maybe someone like the Dollar Shave Club is sponsor
right, of course.
Nordic VPN. But I said their name now. Okay, don't buy from Nordic VPN unless I tell you otherwise in some podcast.
Yeah, well, we haven't said to buy their stuff yet. So we just said their name.
All right. But, were you recording all this time?
I'm watching it. I've changed my setup.
Great.
So my sheet isn't just over my head and the mic; it's over my head, the mic, and the screen.
Great. Well,
so I can see.
I think it's time to close this one off.
Okay. Well, I had another sponsor.
Sure.
I can't remember.
Oh.
Who it was because you cut me off.
I keep cutting you off, man.
I think Audacity should sponsor us because we keep using Audacity.
Yeah. Well, I don't even know who's behind Audacity.
They should pay us to make up for my recording
compensation.
Mm-hmm.
Right. I don't know. This episode felt a little all over the place. I just feel discouraged still from last episode. It sucks.
I'm also kind of tired.
Yeah.
It's been a long day.
After a long week. But we don't mean to drag you down with us, listener. We promise next week is going to be a lot better.
Right, there's definitely going to be a podcast next week, and it's definitely going to be better than this.
Yeah, you gotta cut us some slack, right? I mean, come on, listener, come on. Why are you being so accusatory? Come on, listener.
All right.
All right, let's close this one off. We just hit 1 hour.
Yeah. Well, I mean, we're gonna cut.
Do you want to
off
close
the
this one
intro.
off?
Sure.
I
Listener,
don't. Yeah, go ahead.
if you're there in the comments, I think you should leave us a little comment.
Yes.
Share anything you want to know.
Well, no.
Want us
First,
to know.
we're supposed to thank the listener. Sorry.
You are We're sorry.
Grateful for your listener.
Thank you, listener, for listening this far. If you would like to leave us a comment or send us an email, we'll be sure to go through all of them.
You would like to leave us a comment.
Personally pin your comment so that everyone else can see it. If you would like to subscribe and ding that bell icon so you know when we have updates, because apparently we don't have a schedule anymore.
I just have one small thing to say to people. So this is really important. Okay, I need you to really concentrate for this one. I need you to smash the like button. I need you to smash and destroy the subscribe button until it's not red anymore. And then what I need you to do is press it again.
You have
and
to
again,
hit that
and again,
like button
until it's not
so
red.
hard
and comment.
that the like button isn't there anymore.
So the comment section is filled with so many bits of data that the entire internet collapses. God, that was the worst thing we've ever done. Yeah. Even worse than Big Fun Season 1, Episode 1. That's not true. This episode was pretty bad. But, well, anyways, this is dragging on for way too long. Listen,
alright.
as Nadav here said, thank you, and goodbye.